Hi, hello, welcome. Thank you for listening in. It is Snap on This, a Marvel Snap podcast, episode 28. I'm your host, LaurenWhatevs, here with my two amazing co-hosts. First up, it's an even week, so we're going to throw it over to Ben. Ben, how was your week in Snap? And keep it snappy.
Well, endeavoring to keep it snappy, as I always do. It's been an all right week in Snap. As I like to mention most episodes, we record on Wednesday, so there's been about a day of Sanctum Showdown going on. I played some of that. I was doing some, regular snapping before that. It wasn't a hugely busy deck building week for me. I sampled our friend Thursday's cooking. He had a fun Red Wing Dracula deck that I had some times with. That's Bird and Bat, and that'll be in the show notes. And I thought that was super fun. Also, I had my own deck with Red Wing in it because I'm about like a week behind on cooking with new cards. Although very often I wait much longer than a week to cook with a new card. I acquire them when they come out, and then I build with them when I feel like it. Damn it!
I was gonna say a week behind's pretty good for you.
Yeah.
This is Luke Cage. It sucks. Like I play with it anyway.
But my Red Wing deck is called Nelly Furtado, as in I am like a bird. So it's got Aranya, Madam Web, Iron Patriot, Kraven, Captain America, that's Sam Wilson, Captain America, Cosmo, Voltur, Hope Summers, Red Wing, Cull Obsidian, Heimdall, and Magneto. And you may notice that it's pretty similar to a secret homework deck that I brought a couple of weeks ago, and that's because it is. It's 2 cards off of my secret homework deck from the episode we recorded on the 12th, I think it was. So yeah, it's that worked pretty well for me. I swapped Iron Patriot in for Dagger. I swapped Red Wing in for Thaddeus Ross. Yeah, Dagger and Thaddeus went out, and Iron Patriot and Red Wing went in, and that's been a fun deck for me. I've been enjoying that. Red Wing is, I don't know. I'm not sure this is like, I don't know. It's just a thing I've been playing some games with. I wouldn't swear by it as like high quality deck will take you to the top, anything like that. But that's what I built this week. Other than that, I've been playing some Sanctum in the past day or so. Tried some people's lists. Haven't really done too much cooking for it myself. I did bring a retooled version of my Joaquin Torres bounce deck into it, and I knew it wasn't going to be like, super optimal for the format, but I thought it was fun. Been having fun with Snap a little bit here and there.
A little bit. That's a little bit of fun or a little bit of Snap.
Well, no, I haven't been like playing super prolifically because you know me. I like to play when I'm in a good mood because it makes you win more games. That's my theory. And it's been a light week, but I'm glad. I built, I played, I did the Snap things.
Yeah, I'm glad the time you had was good. Our other co-host, Ree, how was your week in Snap?
Okay. Well, unlike Ben, I have unhealthy relationships with my games, so it was a very prolific week for me in Snap. But it will be a snappy week in Snap, because most of what I have to say is about Sanctum, which will be its own topic later. And so I was trying to think before Sanctum, before I decided that I was called upon to take the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. I was like, what did I do before then? I know I played a lot of Snap. I was trying to like dust off Spider Bay and stuff, but it's like, I had one brief shining memory of the joy that was playing with fun meme decks before we got into Sanctum and went into pure academic mode. And I was playing my the deck I talked about last time, which is like a move surfer with Red Wing and Heimdall and Madam Web, importantly, because I had this moment where it was turn 5. and they played Ajax on Space Throne, which is a location where you can only have one card. And I was like, okay, I see your meta Ajax, which I didn't have at the time, but I've since bought out of envy with tokens. And I was like, let me, put up to that one Spider-Man 2099 in a sombrero. And place that on the Madam Web. And then they never saw this as coming. This is why I loved it. Snapped. Okay. So obviously at that point they knew I was killing mid. Because yes, I moved my Spider-Man 2099 onto Space Throne, killed their Ajax. But then I played Heimdall, which we've talked about before as being a great surprise card, on the right, moving Spider-Man 29 power into the left lane, winning me the left lane, moving Madam Web herself, moving the mover into the Space Throne, which you only need to win a lane
winning by
1 point with Madam Web. And it was just like, this is what I live for. Get wrecked, meta deck, with my nonsense.
That's very crafty.
Anyway, I know this is why I love it. It's like I feel so like a little finger. Like you were so busy watching my stupid jester dance. You didn't see I was weaving a spell of daggers behind you. Anyway. So, but then okay. Here's the thing. Here's what happened. And then Sanctum started, which I was worried I missed the start of. I see so Lauren talking about. I was like, oh no, what? But it started, and I was like, okay, so you have to picture for this, the meme, and you can take your pick of SpongeBob or Friends, right? But it's
I'll pick SpongeBob every time.
Okay, SpongeBob, I actually haven't seen SpongeBob, just the memes, just lots and lots of memes. So, but it's okay, so on left side, we have Reasonable Ree, who doesn't really exist. She's just a figment of my imagination. And then me, and she's like, okay, Ree, you have priorities. Snap isn't the top one. And I'm like, yes. Snap isn't even the only game you play. Yes. And, okay, it's okay. You don't have to be collection complete in games. You don't have to get everything. Just because a game says grind, you don't have to hop on that treadmill and say yes for how long and how fast. I'm like, yes. And they're like, okay, so we're not going to grind Sanctum until we hate Snap our life and everything. I'm like, no, incorrect. We will grind Sanctum. We will try to get all of the cards. We will be Sorcerer Supreme and we will rule the world. And I am a librarian in Sanctum, which is one level below the Sorcerer Supreme. I have all 3 of the new cards. Almost enough for my first Series 4. I've played so much Sanctum. So I have a lot to talk about the deck I've been playing, but we'll talk about that later. Lauren, our third host.
I probably threw you off on Sanctum starting because offline, before Sanctum actually started, I was playing it with Safety Blade. Playing it, he cooked up he cooked up a Python based just little that would randomly decide where the Sanctum was and would keep track of the turns and which players snapped and all that. And so we were practicing Sanctum in regular battle mode. And so all of us talking about that's what that was. It was really good for testing. We tested so many things into I don't know. I felt like I went into Sanctum very informed just because I'd played 2 or 3 hours of practice Sanctum. I ended up, again, we're going to talk about Sanctum mostly in its own topic. I am not quite librarian, but I'm at Disciple. I also played a very unhealthy amount of Sanctum yesterday. Granted, part of these is from the Twitch drops, which contribute to your sorcerer track, which is interesting. But those definitely give you a quick boost up. You should get the Twitch, or you should do the Twitch drops this time if you're not normally a Twitch drop user.
Yeah, for those who are curious about exactly how much do the Twitch drops get you, that's 12 scrolls and 1,000 charms if you watch for the whole 6 hours.
Right, which is huge, especially because the 1,000 charms move you up the track, which gives you even more charms. So
I've played like probably like I if I were to estimate, I would say 10 to 15 games of Sanctum total, and somehow I'm at Disciple, probably a lot of it off of the Twitch drops, because Disciple unlocks at 1110, 1,110. These are such arbitrary numbers, but yeah. So yeah, if you get the Twitch drops, you're like practically at Disciple already.
Yeah, so highly recommend those. Other things I've been doing, I think I mentioned last episode I was playing a weird Arasham deck where I had thrown in a handful of album variants that I was seeking. Characters whose variants I was seeking. Heimdall was in there, and I've been having a blast with Heimdall, but I've got like 6 or 7 of my target album variants this past week. So I don't know if it's actually the shop algorithm or just pure coincidence, but I have had many hits this week. I got from a premium mystery variant, I got the Flaviano Heimdall, which finished off getting Negasonic Flaviano, and I'm so excited I finally have that. It's such a good variant.
Oh my gosh, me too! This week!
Yeah. Oh, this week, let's go.
I got a Flaviano shop, and I bought 3 Flavianos all in one day.
I'm like steadily been working towards it. I think I bought 2 of them and then got the Heimdall in a premium mystery variant. And now I'm done with that variant. I don't want the Galactus emo or that album. I don't want the Galactus emo, but I really wanted that Negasonic. And I got Dan Hip Werewolf. And so now there's only 2 albums.
Is that the Galactus that says okay?
Uh-huh.
Is that the one? Oh.
Okay.
I know with that face too.
Yeah. It's not, I don't know. Some people love that emote. I think it's
good
dumb.
For them.
Yeah,
I also think it's dumb.
Not my speed. I want to be rude in different ways, like Spider-Man Woo and Cyclops blasting.
I don't even think those are rude. I just think those are fun. Like,
yeah, I like being silly, and I use them mostly when I lose, not when I win. So, yeah, I only have 3 more to get, and so my Arasham deck is increasingly becoming a stereotypical Arasham deck. Again, don't know if it's worked, but like these cards like Forge and Heimdall and Iron Man and Iceman that I haven't played very much lately, all of a sudden they're showing up in my shop. Could be coincidence, there was
a Team Answers I think I saw where someone asked that and they said no, what you favorite doesn't affect your shop at all.
They said the favorites don't do it, but there's been this Reddit post going around where
oh really?
The cards you play theoretically affect the shop algorithm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can make it work even more. Oh no, you're all good.
It seems like the kind of thing that they could find in code somewhere, but that maybe it seems difficult to prove without actually showing the mechanism by which it happens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We know there's a shop algorithm. They have talked about that before, and if the shop algorithm, I figured it would be characters you've bought variants for before, or variant styles you've bought before. If I buy all the Dan Hips, why aren't you selling me more Dan Hips, for example? But it hasn't seemed like it's that way at all. And so it's well, if it's not based on the things that you actually spend your gold on, could it be based on the cards you play? And if it's not based on that, what is the algorithm even doing? So yeah, the theory, by the way, Ree, is you can play 2 or 3 different decks exclusively that all have your one card in common. That's the best way to make this work.
Oh, okay.
And the theory is that weights that part of the algorithm that considers the cards you've played, it weights that part heavier towards the one card that is the common one across all your decks. But I haven't been doing that. I've just been playing one silly deck with these cards, and they've all been showing up. So who knows? I ended up buying the super cute Goose and Lockjaw because I needed gold for how many variants they're throwing at me in such quick succession. Anyway, the other thing I did, they changed character mastery. They, lowered the banana rates and ray rates and things like that. So I was doing math on those. You can check them out on my Twitter or Blue Sky if you want to see the tables. They're good tables.
They're great tables. Some of them how to hear any more about tables. Okay, sorry. I had to say that. I'm very excited about these tables. I would hear about these tables all day. It's just a thing.
Okay. I mean, they are cosmetics tables, so I wouldn't be offended if you weren't super into them.
That I said that. I promise.
Okay, I hope you're right. I'm sure you are. You usually are. And then Sanctum Math I've been starting to do behind the scenes, but the short version is, and I'm not going to go into the Sanctum mode, but the Sanctum shop is actually quite generous. Like, Ben, I know you're usually giving us a Token Tuesday forecast. Buying a Series 5 card in the Sanctum shop just with gold is cheaper than Token Tuesday.
I have noticed that also. Just for the record, the Token Tuesday that happened yesterday was trash. I hope you didn't buy it.
Okay. Does that mean the next one's good?
Probably, yes. I haven't checked, but that's almost always, like, very nearly always, like, it so rarely is not alternating that, like, I almost, like, feel like I'm misleading people by suggesting that it isn't going to alternate, because, like, it almost always does. So, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Anyway, if you've been stocking up on gold, it might be worth it just to buy things directly in the Sanctum shop. It kind of depends on how many charms you can get from your scrolls and how much time you have to do that. But
also, there are more good gold bundles coming up down the road. Like, there are more that are a good deal. I'm a little bit cooled off right now on Token Tuesdays. That's why I haven't been bringing it up quite as much in the past couple. Well, I mean, like, there was that one She-Hulk bundle that had, like, decent value, right? That was gold for credits. There's another bundle that's like 1.5 times that bundle. Just like, it's a larger scale version of the same conversion rate.
We're going back to good gold, like, bundles, huh?
Yep, we just had that good Anti-Venom one. I think there's another good one, the specifics of which I don't recall. But, like, it might be like, if you don't love the Token Tuesdays and the consistency and the predictability the way that I do, like, there really is something to be said for waiting for an even better gold bundle, if that is your speed. So follow your heart. Okay. You know your wallet and your life and stuff. I don't.
Great. Okay, this week we had 4 new cards drop, but I think we'll talk about the Sanctum cards next week. Diamondback in the spotlight, a 3/3 ongoing. Enemy cards here, afflicted with negative power, have an additional -2 power. Did you get her? What do you think?
Yes.
I did get her. I spent tokens to do it because I was not impressed by the Spotlight friends.
Yeah, same.
I'm not real excited about this card design, but, I did, in the Sanctum, I did get Lo-Fi, like low fidelity. But anywho, I figure if you got Lo-Fi, you might as well have Diamondback, because they seem like they go together like good friends and fun. Yeah, I don't know. Haven't played it yet. Haven't really run into. I think maybe I ran into one Diamondback yesterday, but not enough that I have, like, strong feelings about the card and what I've seen it do.
Fair. I've seen a few, and I also got her with 4 keys.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow.
No.
Yeah. And I'm not going to use either the Nimrod variant or the Phoenix Force one. They're both decent, but I have other ones I like more. So,
hey, how do we all feel about the portrait variants? The ones that are just like, looking at the face, like the Nimrod one.
Yeah,
there's a Gambit one like that. I
love my Luke Cage like that. The one where he's got, like, the bullets smashing up on his face.
Oh, yeah.
And the yellow background.
I have that actual comic book cover. I found I still feel cool every time I'm like, oh yeah, I found this. I never paid attention to my variants that much before. Snap, to be honest. Okay.
Anyway, it was just a quick question I had, because, like, there was a portrait variant as one of the Spotlight friends, and I was like, I know some people have strong feelings about it, and I guess I mildly disapprove of them, but, like, not in any.
I think I'm the same.
Like, I'd rather have an action pose.
You disapprove of large pieces?
I'd rather know what their character's costume looks like so that I can recognize them the next time I see them around. I don't know.
In general, I think I agree with you, but some of the face ones are cool.
No, I disagree. I think that's why the nameplate is very prominent and always the same, so you can get, like, a big variety in cards and looks.
Variety is good. Do like that sort of thing.
So you can give them some kind of finish and flair that makes them really hard to read, but you still know what card it is. Ree, did you play Diamondback? Did you?
Yes, so I have been working on 2 new versions of my Spider-Woman deck. She's fun. I mean, she's a card, right, that you're putting into an afflict. You're all in on what she's doing, or you're not going to use her as a card. I make the decks to share because I'm still tinkering. I want to play with them more, but I'm working on 2 new versions. One with high evo and one without, just because like high evo, once again, if you're not playing Magic, skipping energy, it just gets rougher and rougher of a thing, and it's so tight when you have to include high evo himself and enough cards to make it worth it. But yeah, so you know, I like Diamondback because I decided I liked her before she even came out, and she goes with Spider-Woman, but I don't think by any means she's like a must get for people unless you're a huge Affliction player.
Yeah. You two have matching hair. I played some Diamondback. I tried to do more, listeners, just for you. I have run maybe like a dozen or 15 games with Diamondback in my deck and drawn her like twice. And one of the times I played her and she was cool, but she didn't even win me the game. If she wasn't on the board, I still would have won. But yeah, like a Diamondback and Hazmat combo or Diamondback and Laufey combo, it's a lot of points, especially if your opponent's playing a lot of cards. I don't think she goes in anything besides Afflict.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe there's a place for her in like a Spectrum that's rocking Luke Cage and
maybe
Man-Thing and US Agent, like a half Afflict, like ongoing Afflict. Maybe.
Although doesn't Luke Cage, I mean, like you'd have to play Luke on like 6 if you wanted Laufey to eat your own. Well, I guess it doesn't matter to you if Laufey eats your own stats. That's the whole.
Because you keep it in the lane.
Yeah.
This is my problem with Diamondback is that like I can't get a good read because everyone's playing Affliction. Cage. So everyone's playing Cage. And they're playing Affliction. So for both reasons, I feel like I need Luke Cage in my deck. But my deck is so, you know, how I'm putting all these ideas in a deck. It's so tight. It's like I really don't want to have Cage in it long term. I want to have him in just to play it right now, which is why I don't like playing cards the week they come out. So I just was like, all right, cool. And I went back to Sanctum, but we'll come back later. I think I love how we're just in this slow roll of like, of Second Dinner giving us enough that every archetype can have its own surfer sub archetype. Like when are we going to get Surfer Afflict?
I love that.
I like it too, to be honest. Okay.
Next week starts the new season. Normally we would just briefly mention the cards coming and then go into our season rankings, but because we're going to be talking about Sanctum maybe for a while, we're going to save our season rankings for next week. So we'll have a thorough conversation about Agamotto and Eson. As always, I'm assuming we're all getting the season pass.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is Agamotto, 5/10. Game start. Shuffle 4 Ancient Arcana into your deck. I still don't know how to talk about these cards that have a million tokens. It's got 4 arcane arts. They're all spells
is
that
there
have
a 5th one. We had some confusion about that.
Yeah, there was one that was data mined, but it never got stats or an ability, so I'm guessing not.
So we think it's the same 4 spells every time. It's not like you're getting 4 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just the 4.
But there's an OTA tomorrow, so I guess it's possible that they OTA the other spell to update it.
I kind of doubt that. That would be sort of under the wire. Like, I just don't think they're that fast moving. And yeah,
when they held back the data mines for like 2 months to keep the December, Marvel Rivals, to keep that a surprise. And ever since then, I've been like, okay, so they could be holding these back if they wanted to. And maybe it causes difficulties for them. Like, I don't know why these things are in the game in the first place for data mining. Is it like, I don't know, an alternate server where you can play them for testing and they're still in the live version of the game, like the live client? I don't know what the reason is, but they could be holding them back and they're not. And so I think there is some intention letting the players have the data mines.
Absolutely. The first time it was an accident, but like it's like it might as well be on purpose after like years of this pattern. Like,
I really think it is.
Like, you can't pretend you're not doing a press release. It's a press release. Like,
and I appreciate it. I understand them maybe wanting to control the narrative themselves, but I appreciate like how much content we can get talking about the upcoming cards. And I don't just mean as a podcast, like I want to talk about upcoming cards. It's like, as somebody who loves the game, I love theory crafting about upcoming cards and planning my resources.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for the player.
Okay. You need to like be able to anticipate stuff. It's like how in television shows, it's like people want to do theory crafting. It's how people get a community and get cited. And like the card game, we all just argue and call each other names for opinions about future cards in the game. You have no idea.
That we all hit and miss on, the cards.
Although I do wish they would like go through a more official like kind of channel, and maybe they could just announce the cards a month or two in advance.
Yeah, I do too.
Or even just like saying like, hey, these are subject to change, but like it does kind of stink that we have to like, paw through not us personally, but like people have to, paw through the code and stuff and go through the files and find the conspicuous things that are seemingly left for them to find, but like just like be upfront and direct about a thing if you can, is my feeling, instead of this weird back channel knowledge.
They could just be simple blog posts.
Yep.
Very much like the data mine blog posts on the data mining sites.
But yeah, they don't have to pay people to do that. When they can just get people to do it.
That's a very good point, Ree.
Don't you understand? Okay. All right. We won't
anyway, these arcane arts, I'm going to go through them in cost order because there's a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Temporal Manipulation, a 1/0. On reveal, give Agamotto +3 power. Put him into your hand if he's not in play. And then banish this. All 4 of them have banished this. They remove themselves into a third pile distinct from destroyed and discarded.
The Yondu pile.
Yeah. You can already...
Wait, Yondu doesn't have banish yet, but he's going to, right? They've said they're going to put banish on old cards, and they mean Yondu, right?
Oh.
Like, Yondu's like the poster child for a card they meant to put banish on, right?
I mean, Kang banishes himself, right?
Yeah, but like they're gonna put it on more cards, and I'm telling you, Yondu for sure, because like destroying a card off the top of the deck is so weird. It's a weird thing that they don't like. What happens to Wolverine? He doesn't regenerate, but like it's ugly and like messy, and they know better. Like they're gonna put banish on Yondu.
I agree, it's weird, but like you play Yondu in decks with death, like whether it's mill or destroy.
You're not gonna do that anymore. You're only gonna play Yondu in mill now.
Maybe they'll make Yondu stronger.
I don't know about that. I'm thinking more like eventually there are going to be cards that interact with the banish pile, and it'll be more to your advantage because it'll be like bring back banished card, or whatever. So I feel like eventually you'll want to be yoinking stuff out of your banish pile, right?
Could be. It doesn't seem very banished to me.
I gotta say, that seems like a level of complexity creep that, like, I think they're actually trying to get away from. Yes, Magic does interact with.
It lets you hit your exile pile?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay, no, but I was talking about like Marvel Magic, like in the lore. I mean, it's just like it's Magic. Anything that's banished will eventually get unbanished. But yes, also Magic the Gathering.
Okay. I kind of thought Exile was like, no, this is out of the game. It's gone.
Nope, just one more layer of complexity.
All right.
That's removed from the game.
I see. Those are two different things. I understand.
I play a lot of board games, so like the exact phrasing of things is very important.
All right. I'm thinking of like legacy games where you literally rip up the cards that are removed from the game.
No, but except for you don't, you save them so you can
on the Magic the Gathering
later.
Stuff. I guess you can if you want, but like, I don't know. I'm not going to read it. Sorry.
I've definitely played Magic. It's just been like
to explain the exiled and removed from the game are in fact the same thing, and they started as different things. Blah 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 blah. Or, like the exiled came into keyword eyes removed from the game, and I don't know. Maybe they are separate things again. I I don't know.
Magic. Sorry, like while we're talking about Magic, they have they are so desperate for card gamers. They are just like hitting everyone up late night. Like, hey, you don't play Magic anymore? What if it's Lord of the Rings? Though, don't you love Lord of the Rings?
There is something a little bit.
Literally don't you love Marvel?
SpongeBob,
Hey,
X-Men,
we got Marvel for you.
Lara Croft.
They lately have FF14. Final Fantasy 14 my game.
Is it gonna
and
pull
I was
you in?
I was like, no Magic, we're done. You and I are finished. I've told you over and you brought Lord of the Rings, you brought it all. Like, if that's not gonna get me. Oh, I was so tempted though. Someone popped up in the subreddit like, hey, how can I learn more about Ishtola? And Ishtola is like a very sexy white-haired cat lady. But I love her too, not for her sexiness, but because she's like a true scientist. She's like something for everyone. Okay, anyway, sorry. Magic aside, didn't mean to do that. Back to Snap things.
Okay. For the record, my excuse is I haven't played Magic in like 20 years. I don't know if that's a valid excuse. Maybe Exile was already distinct back then.
No, Exiled, I
Less than
think,
20
got
years.
introduced around, I want to say, 2009-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hear. So yeah, temporal manipulation pulls Agamotto into your hand, and afterwards he'd be a 5/13. Good. I mean, you're thinning your deck after already adding 4 cards to it. Winds of Watum, the 2/0. On reveal, afflict an enemy card here with -5 power and move it right. Banish this. Are we going to talk about the spells or Agamotto? I don't know.
Okay, just real quick. Exile was known as removed from the game before it was renamed as part of the Magic 2010 rules update. So Exile is the same.
We're synonymous?
And it changed around 2010, so I guess.
And they were synonymous then?
Sorry.
Okay, sorry. No, it's my favorite thing when Ben can't let things go. Okay.
I'll just go on to the next spell. Bolts of Balthak. One that grew on Ben. On reveal, this is a 3/0. On reveal, next turn, you get +4 energy. Banish this. Which is really, it's just letting you skip a turn and keep all that energy into the next turn. +1. Good.
Although, it does take a card and you are playing with an extra big deck. But, I do think that this card is probably, the card that makes it an RSM, Not a card that makes it go in RSM, the card that makes Agamotto an RSM.
Justifies what he does to your deck.
Yep, you're playing a big deck that gives you extra energy and lets you do stupid stuff, and you're sacrificing consistency and subtlety for it.
Yeah. Images of Icon, a 4/0. On reveal, transform your other cards here into copies of the highest power one. Banish this. Could be copies of a 5/13 Agamotto.
Good.
But also, if you've been drawing a bunch of arcane arts, they're not on your board. So I really think it's going to be a problem when you draw multiple of these, which is weird.
It is a bit.
Yeah, I really don't know what kind of deck he goes in. He looks fun and interesting and different, and I trust that they they choose season pass cards with intention.
Also, you know what? I just like that this is giving work to King Eitri, and I like it.
Yeah, me too. King Eitri is just you see someone with a hammer, and you're like, that's someone who works.
Oh yeah.
That's I think it's from video games, right? We're the hammer guys. Get shit done. All right. Anyway, sorry, my brain is very off topic. I'm very I have no clue what I'll do with Agamotto. I don't even. I'll probably.
I have no plans to build with this card. If I get around to it, it won't be next week. That's for sure.
It'll be some nonsense when I get around to it. For sure.
It'll have Ravona when Ree gets to it.
Yeah.
Will it? I have heard that these spells, these arcane arts, these ancient arcana, whatever they're called, I've heard that they don't actually have power. That's what I heard on Snap
What?
Judgment.
No.
Wait, you're saying they just don't have it?
Yeah.
Like they are
That can't
missing
be
that
right.
like icon?
Like they
That's
are
so-
missing a power thing.
No.
That's what I heard on Snap Judgments a couple of weeks ago. I haven't heard any more about it since. I don't know if our grandpa... I don't know.
disagree.
Glazer seemed to think they wouldn't have a power thing so that Ravona would not qualify because they just don't have a number there.
I disagree.
How
I
would
think...
it interact? Go ahead, say
I
it.
think
I
think
don't know
Glenn
on
has-
what basis, like, he came to this. I think he had seen with his own eyes versions of these cards without a power thing or whatever.
See, I think Glenn has said before that they don't want to make different types of cards, right? They don't want an equipment card to be a distinct thing from a character card.
And I think that
And we can
is
see
super
that.
smart and good, and they should keep up with that. That's what I think.
And so
Right,
if
and
also
then
I
how
think
would
these
it
are-
interact with like a new cards that would buff it? Would it then gain a power? Would it just completely
See,
ignore
I
it? So
don't
many
know.
interactions.
That's what I'm like. I'm not sure if this is like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if, but like Glazer seemed pretty certain, and
I'm thinking though, like zero deep space, like things that wipe out their text when they're sitting on your board, they're just not going to have any power. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think like maybe the idea was that so that like Jane Foster wouldn't pull them all out all at once or something. I don't know.
But you have to use Mr. Negative to make her pull them.
Should I message Glazer and be like, what were you talking about?
Yeah. Well, what were you on? Because I want some. Okay. We're going to get him. He's the season pass card. He's interesting. I'm looking forward to what people are going to do. I have no idea what to do with this card. Besides Ravona and its-rie. I like big stuff so that images of icon can but you want little stuff too, so there's bodies for images of icon. The abilities.
Like, if we don't even know if we can Ravona them or not, like this is just an unknown quantity.
It would make no sense if you couldn't. Okay. Snap.fan specifically says power 0, not just on the icon of the card, but like in the stats, it specifically says power 0. And I feel like it would say like power NA or, dash or something.
Maybe. I mean, like, I want to believe that they have 0 power. I just I meant to bring it up last week that I'd heard this thing on Snap Judgments. And it's, it just didn't, man, I want to get to the bottom of this, but I also like kind of don't give a shit. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Find out next week.
Yeah.
You'll know by next week, but I don't know. Ask Glazer if you want to ask him.
Well, like Friday, we should have sometimes it runs late, but Friday we should have the YouTube announcement video. They might give us some knowledge then.
I feel like I used to enjoy the updates, and now I kind of like am bored. I've already looked at all the data mines. And
it's a problem with the data mines.
Doesn't feel as cute anymore, and I'm like, is there anything interesting here? Like any new announcements that I wasn't expecting? Okay, anyways.
Well, the opening 30 seconds of animation is usually pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Eson, a 6/9. This is the spotlight card next week. After each turn, put a card from your hand that didn't start in your deck here. It goes in Arasham, I guess. We talked about because Arasham can play at a turn early and also has tons of targets for Eson to play.
Yeah.
We also talked about Wave being a great way to ramp him out and get 3 hits, but you need hand gen, card gen or something.
I feel like you want a Moon Girl stuff. Because I was just thinking about this. I'm like, what do I actually want to do with this card? And it's like, you don't want to do Arasham. Because the thing with Arasham is all the time you get cards that you don't I don't want to fucking yellow jacket this lane or whatever. So you don't want to you need the agency to put stuff places. So I'm like, this is the kind of thing where you want to control what you've generated, and you probably want higher cost cards or cards with big abilities on them, to make it worthwhile. So, Moon Girl.
Moon Girl, but so you Moon Girl on 4 and then do stuff on 5, and then on turn 6 you play Eson and he plays one of them. It's a very weird card.
Got a ramp.
I have heard back from Glazer. Someone did say that to him, but he claims he's not the one who mentioned it on the podcast, and he has been unable to confirm. So you know what? I bet they got 0. That's what I bet.
Okay.
Oh, I appreciate your
I bet somebody was just talking out of their butt,
didn't...
and Glazer didn't want to challenge them on the podcast. That's my suspicion. I don't know.
Well, we just don't want to. Yeah, it's good that we didn't put words in our grandpa's mouth.
Yeah. Well,
Glazer,
okay,
if you're listening, we love you.
It's all true.
We do. If you're now that you're done researching, do you have Eson thoughts besides like Arsham?
I don't like this card. No,
I don't either.
It's so hard.
I mean, you can cheat it out
figure
early
out.
with like wave or something. You can, but it's just an
That's what
Arsham
you do.
card.
Wait,
It is
right.
like you do need to have Arsham installed to play this card. This is Arsham Brood War. You need a copy of the original Arsham game to play these bonus missions.
But that's what I was saying. I disagree. Like, you want to control what you're putting down. Like, something that's random could be bad. Ooh,
the cards,
if you could Zola him somehow in ramp.
And he pulls down 2 cards. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But
you moon girls,
I mean, you
so
can
have
limbo
full
to
hand.
get an extra turn out of him. Like, there are things you can do. It's just...
Okay, Psylocke to Moon Girl to wave to us. I don't know how you do it. I
It's
haven't thought
very
it through.
awkward.
How do you do this? You're probably
But I
only getting
guess-
1 or 2 uses out of him most times, you know?
Yeah, it's also very Red Wing-y. Like, doesn't have the setup of Red Wing, but also has a
someone you
has a
want to Red
restriction
Wing.
on what cards he can pull. Yeah.
Now I want to
something
pull
you
him
want
out
to
with Red Wing.
All right, looking at the Spotlight Friends, which sometimes gives us a hint. Wiccan and Beta Ray Bill. So he's going to play your Stormbreaker for you.
You're
saving
free.
you Yeah.
Hammers.
Wiccan would let you get Eson out a turn early. And Wiccan also often does hand gen, like with a Snow Guard or a
Yep. Wiccan is friends with hand generation cards for sure. That's
or Valentina
documented.
or so maybe
weird thing.
Wiccan is real with Eson.
Maybe.
Look, cheating energy is good, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So he, even if you only get 1 hit from Eson, still cheating you could be 3, 4 or more energy.
Red Wing does the same thing, and Red Wing's right.
Yeah.
It's a card from your hand, and this one's just a more specific version of that can do it more times, but
it's also here. It's in the same spot where
Yeah.
Eson is.
Right.
So like
It's
even if he does live
Malekith-y.
more than 1 turn, you're still just like super densely committing to 1 lane.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get this card. I think it'll
Yeah. That's
what I'm
probably
saying.
be
With like Tribunal and stuff, right? Like he's that kind of where your strategy is bonkers.
But also, I mean, like, maybe if he's not just an Arshem friend, like, have we considered just, like, the raw stats of the dang thing? Because, like, 6/9 is a bad stat line if you're not putting a whole extra card onto the board. But, like, if you are putting a whole extra card, like, this is, like, a very big
a
6
Zemo
drop.
or a Malekith. They have a lot of power, and I think he will too. It's just
You're right.
I guess maybe he's not
pulls one
smart.
card.
I don't know. I have difficulty being imaginative with this card because it just there's nothing inspiring about it for the imagination.
so not your speed. I think it's weird that he's coming out with Agamotto because it's like, okay, he could play the spells for you, which is kind of cool. The spells actually have cost, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Eson
yeah.
pulls
I mean, like these
images
cards
of
do, I
Icon.
guess, go together. You know, it's not bad.
That's also commonly true. The Spotlight card on Season Pass Day is if you can play them together. Anyway, I don't know how much more we can say about them. Both of these cards are just weird, and maybe I haven't thought about them enough, but I don't. Or they're just
Also-
too high cost for my taste.
Since we are mentioning the Eson Agamotto connection, it's worth saying that 2 of Agamotto's spells are bad on the last turn. So I don't like on turn 6, if you played Eson in the Agamotto situation, you don't want to be bolts of ball thacking. You don't want to be temporal manipulationing.
They're not bad. They're just nothing.
Yeah, but like that's the same as being bad, because that's like if you had other generated cards, they're like diluting your chances to get a real hit.
Which, like, gets back to my point with Eson. You very much want to control, which is why I don't see him as an Arsham. He's very much a card where you want to control exactly what he's going to pull to make sure it's something good for you, which is, like, going to be very specific.
That's a good point.
Maybe he just goes in hand gen as a big guy on the last turn.
Yeah, especially if you're generating like large things, like you might with an Iron Patriot or a Nick Fury or something. Like,
yeah,
you're not trying to Maria Hill around here.
Yeah, the more I think
he
about
already
it,
goes in a ramp deck, so you probably already have big things in here. I don't know.
I think he's just a Wiccan card, because that lets you play him early, and you already have hand gen going on. And maybe I don't know, but like if you have Limbo and you play him a turn early, he's filling all 3 other spots next to him. Like, that might be overkill.
That's definitely overkill.
Yep. Don't play Magic. Okay. Let's talk about our new game mode, Sanctum Showdown. It lasts for 2 weeks. It is, in my experience, the most distinct game mode we've had to date.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
I think I've probably played the least of it. I've played like a fair amount though, and I think it's fun. I think it's more fun than Deadpool's Diner. I'd say it's, I think maybe I expected I would like it more than High Voltage. I think maybe I like High Voltage a little more. I'm not sure. I do notice that, like, I don't know, things are pretty homogenous in terms of like what I'm facing. Seeing a lot of Rocket Raccoon on one. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's fine. I'm gonna keep going. I've got plenty of scrolls, so I'll probably work through my scrolls. I will try not to need to buy more. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else have more strong thoughts about Sanctum Showdown?
So much. And I did find, okay, so first of all, it feels so grindy, because it's like the games are long, and it's like, it took me so long to realize, I'm like, oh, the charms are just like what I got in game. So max, you're getting 20 something. And
that's
it's
if
just
everything
like,
really, really like rolls your way at the end there. Like, that's if you get like all the bonus teeth in Inscription or whatever.
Right.
Like,
so you
really
finally find, so the little tricks. So like, I didn't realize, so one, you don't really want to retreat unless you're just that tilted and you want to deny someone some extra charms.
Unless you're playing against Scream.
Unless like you just, like if you're not just dipping out early because you just like screw this match, because it's like that is the number of charms you get. If you win, you get a scroll, so you get to keep playing, and you get however many charms you got in game. So even if you lose, you still get many charms. So if you still can win locations, it's still kind of sometimes worth it to see it out for like 1 or 2 charms, which is where the grindiness comes in. It's like 1 or 2 charms is worth like a whole waiting out a fucking long turn sometimes. But so there's that, and also there's like what I found and people started doing more later on was just snapping on the last turn regardless, just to like get everyone max charms.
That's good. Yeah, that's
snapping.
Good. Yeah, I think that it's probably like, if you think to do it, that's probably a nice thing to do for your opponent if you're losing or whatever. Also, I've got a question about something that I think I observed while I was playing. I expected that priority would work like normally, but if I am correct in what I have seen, priority works based on who's ahead score-wise, yes, which I think is a terrible decision personally. That's just my again, I've only played like 10 games or so, but like that seems like not how it should work to me, but whatever.
You're correct that priority is based on who has the most points, and it's a 50-50
it's not based on who's ahead on 2 lanes. So it just snowballs, and like once you're ahead, you get to keep being the prio person forever.
Yeah, I'd personally built 2 decks going into it, and then had a third that I kind of like hybrid built with Safety and Scott. And like when we were testing the game mode, we made a move deck.
And y'all didn't know about that rule, did you?
We did not know about the priority rule. So one of the 2 decks that I went in with is a wide deck, right? It's Shauna and Squirrel Girl. It's like, let's get prio quick and then use mean things like Negasonic Teenage Warhead, which is still a real strategy. That's not how you get prio.
Doing that, yeah.
So yeah, that wide deck is useless. It's gone. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. The prio, like that is how Snap works. Whoever's winning gets prio.
Oh, another weird thing that bothered me that didn't make much sense. End of turn, like the scoring thing happens at a different timing than Murder World things, than Bob things. So like,
I really like that actually.
Murder World happens before Bob moves. So if you snap to move Bob off of Murder World, he's still going to die. But the scoring for Sanctum points happens after Bob moves. So Bob moves to a new place, and then the winners of lanes are calculated. And I just think that is needlessly confusing and nonsensical.
I think it's a little unintuitive, but I actually like that the scoring is exactly between turns. It's after everything end of turn happens and before everything start of turn happens. Like it is exactly between turns is when the scoring happens.
But why does Bob happen between the 2 things?
Bob is after turns.
Yeah,
like
but
he's
like
at the end of the turn.
So Murder World happens like before Bob moves. Why does that happen? Like, and other location effects, like all the other location effects will happen before Bob moves.
Yeah,
like Murder World is like just an example.
It's just locations and then characters. That's the priority of things. It
seems weird to me that he's sandwiched between because like Iron Patriot checks end of turn, and like Bob is still in his original position for Iron Patriot checks. Like, it seems weird that the only check that happens after Bob is the Sanctum check. I don't know. There's just something like very strange.
Like Havoc. I think Havoc has the same timing as Bob.
Okay.
And Adam Warlock. I think those 3 all have the same window. Yeah, I can see how it's like confusing. That's just like, technicalities, right? And Iron Patriot is like Iron Fist or Nico, where he continues to work even if he's destroyed. And so the ability is not attached to the card, it's attached to the location or the player.
That part makes sense. It's just like the timing of it with the Bob movements is what I'm getting at.
Well, I'm saying that's why the timing is different, is because player abilities, location abilities, and card abilities happen in that order.
Okay. But Sanctum is a new thing that is added.
And then there's a 4th thing, the Sanctum scoring.
Okay.
Yes. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, if you're confused about it, I imagine many more players are confused about it. It just seems weird that
like there are these like contest locations like Hala and stuff where like it's about who's ahead at the end of the turn, right? Except like there are so many ends of the turn where it matters who's ahead.
I've been harvesting people who don't understand Bifrost, because they load up on the location where the Sanctum is, and it's like, no, Bifrost is going to fire before scoring, so you need to load up left of the Sanctum. Yeah. It's
okay. Can I talk more now?
Yeah, sorry. Please do.
So I've played a lot, and I'm just like less interested in why the technicalities so much as learning them so I can conquer them. Because here's why I did find some joy in this mode that's probably over now, because I found it, and now it's just going to be a grind for 2 weeks? How long has it been since we've had Sanctum? I'm
one day.
I wish I could push up my glasses, but I replaced them with laser eyes. So, okay, I went in basically going into a game without a game guide, which is why I didn't know how the charms worked. It took me a long time to figure, because I just figured it out while I was playing. I also hadn't really looked at a lot of other people's decks or what people were planning or doing or what other people's experiences were. I really just played Sanctum. Like a lot. So, like I said, I have all the new cards already. So I started with a deck. And this was the fun. I started with a deck that was just kind of like a mix of cards we thought might be good for Sanctum, I think, generally. And my deck that I've ended with, that I've won quite a bit, as I have said. I'm like sitting at like 22 scrolls, I think, right now. And I'm almost a Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, really, to be legit, there should only be one, but it's a game mode.
That would actually be cool if they only gave that title to like the top.
No, it would be a nightmare. People
I wouldn't go for
die.
it. I did that in Diner 1. It was like the top 100 on the leaderboard got a unique title.
It's too much to make people, because you're making people compete with their time, and it's just like, it's not cool. But so my card, and then I just started swapping out cards that didn't work for me, or cards that I saw work really well for someone else. And then you start playing the third mind game where it's like, okay, cards that get around all the cards that you're seeing. And my deck still, I think it's probably pretty part of the homogeny that you're all talking about. Like I said, I've just played Sanctum, so I don't know what other people are saying about it, but these are cards I've also seen quite a bit, some of them, so I assume my deck comes in there. But first, okay, like a lot of people, I put in a lot of movers. I had Nightcrawler, I had Jeff, both of those are gone now. One, because there's Scream everywhere. There's Scream everywhere, and that is one of the reasons why this deck has a Red Guardian. Red Guardian is just such a good tech. What I found often is that sometimes I'll just purposely miss the first 4 points because it's worth my time more to take out a Scream with a Red Guardian or some other power card. Early in the game, very early in the game, then strategy can be more important than for future turns than winning the lane that round. As the game goes on, obviously that's less and less good of a plan. Then you're really trying to get it every single tick. But on the flip side, that's where those early turns come into play. Because when you first start playing, right, I feel like you start and you're like, oh, I'm going to get them all. I win the one if I can. And then you're like, well, it's just 1 point compared to 4 to 6 that you're going to get later on. But then third round, you're like, sometimes having that 1 or 2 extra points really matters for that turn where you want to win, crossing you into that 16 point territory to win. And this is the fun, finding all these little strategy points of playing the game. So Red Guardian, taking out a card like that, or setting up a card for success. There's that new location now where the highest power, or not the highest power, the highest cost card gets an extra power each turn. That's sometimes worth skipping a first turn to set up something that's going to increase, especially if it's going to sit for a while, or sending a Nebula somewhere early on. That's worthwhile. And little cards, when I started too, this is still full of little cards, but I had even more little cards, like I said, Nightcrawler and Jeff. And I find a lot of games go long, and then they start to just clog it up for you, and they're fodder for things like Scream.
Yeah, the game has ended up being a lot slower than I thought it was going to be. I thought most games were going to end on turn 5, and I've had many games go to turn 7.
Yep.
So that's another piece to it, but that's where cards both that increase in power of time, Nebula is a superstar in this game. I had a theory early on of there were so many Nebulas and Hydra Bobs and stuff. I'm like, what if I play Killmonger and Null? You know what I mean? I retain any power I built up in Nebula. I kill their ones that they have out. And it was fun when it hit, but it's still just not more valuable. like, not enough other people are playing Killmonger, Elektra, or whatever. And it's like, Nebula being out there every turn gaining power. Captain America, you see him a lot. Sam Wilson, Captain America. You see him a lot out there, but he's valuable because, like, one, sometimes the shield just gets you that early point early on. Two, he's a card you can increase. Moving the shield around a lot is important in my deck. I have Elsa in my deck. So, like, being able to just move the shield to get that little one Elsa on the lane I'm trying to win and then move it back off and hit him, super valuable for me.
That's
so
cool.
I still have I have a few movers in this deck still. Rocket Raccoon and Groot. Another card that is just like, hey, every time they hit something here, it's going to build. You can move it once. That's valuable. I'm generally always trying to take out a Scream. And I still have Hydra Bob. So easy to put out to win an early lane. You can move them around the entire game this time since they're unlimited snaps. Kitty Pryde. I've had so many giant ass Kitty Prydes. And once she's giant because you're Elsing her and your lanes are all filled because you're at that end game, like, you can just move her to whatever lane you need to win. So many games I just intentionally kind of lost at the beginning. It's a tricky thing just to, like, in the mid get really set, and then I'm unstoppable. It's like you can't Negasonic is everywhere, and she will try to take out your kitties. Usually I cannot get it. Usually they can't get me on a surprise with it. And that's where your movers like Rocket Raccoon, like moving into that lane to win it, as opposed to where they think they've won it because they've got a Negasonic there. That's where that stuff's valuable. Makari has won me games. Makari's in this deck. Cannonball, didn't ban him. Definitely often wins you along that turn.
That was some foolish. I've been rocking Cannonball. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Galacta with my Elsa, making giant kitties, making 11 power cannonballs to give that extra edge to win a game. And have I mentioned literally? Okay, I did have Iron Man, and he was rocking for me. And I put him in because I saw other people using him to great effect. Because here's the thing, if they don't have an answer to the Iron Man, if you don't have an answer, like they don't specifically have a Rogue, Enchantress, Red Guardian, but also you can save him because I have Galacta, I have Elsa in this deck. If you get it where you're beefing him up, you know what I mean, to where he's not vulnerable to a Red Guardian, because that's what a lot of people are running, and that's what you have to protect and think about, is the Red Guardian, then he continues to stay in that lane and just power it up turn after turn. Once I got Laufey, who was the first card I rolled, I replaced Iron Man with Laufey. Who's also been great in that spot.
Interesting.
The only card I haven't mentioned, and this was the last card that I like filled in from like trying other things, Star-Lord. I've played against the first Guardian deck I played against trashed me, but then once you see it, it's so easy to avoid because Guardians are so worthless. That Rocket Raccoon filling up one of their valuable 4 slots in that lane with only 1 power that's vulnerable to, like, you know, your other nonsense you're doing. You know, it's once you see that, you can out-strategize them. But they're very good. They're also very good when they hit because you know where they're going to play.
Yeah, I think the Guardians are great in this mode.
Yeah,
when you were talking about
my expectations,
when you were talking about like the early game thing and like how those 1 or 2 first points can really matter at the end, or Prio matters too. Like turn 3 Negasonic when you don't have Prio can be terrible. I've been like, when I'm rocking Rocket and Star-Lord, I'm like, do I want to play them on turn 1 and 2 or hold them for later? Because they're better later when you can play both of them. They're
usually.
They're what are they, like a 5 and a 6? They're 3-11 in one turn if you can play them on the same lane.
It's mostly a mistake to play Rocket on 1 because you have no guarantee that they've drawn a 1 card to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So, it's like then you're just wasting. You're just throwing it away. You save it for that 5 power later.
But I've also lost because I skipped that turn 1 Rocket and they got Prio and they Negasonic to me on 3 and they have a huge lead. And
okay. I saw this and I thought about going to like Negasonic and Guardians because I saw they're doing, but my deck is about, I can outplay them. Like I said, the value of setting yourself up early, even at the cost of losing the first 4 points or whatever. Because then, like I said, usually they'll play them early, let them whiff, let them win the first one and get really low power while you've, either taken out something they really needed later on, or you've set yourself up for basically every other turn on. So it's like the Guardians are powerful, and I think they're a good aggressive strategy. Like if you just want to, you're not like me and you're not like fucking Homeland meme, like analyzing this. I think they're like they're just really brute force, like boom, boom, boom. They're always going to hit. But like the thing is like you can outthink the Guardians. You know what I mean? Like they're not the team with all the super scientists on it, is what I'm saying. So like, but like I did want one Guardian because you just want that power, and I wanted it low cost. And like, you know what? A 2/6 Star-Lord is already great. A 2/6 Star-Lord, even if you draw him late, that you're hitting with like a Galacta and an Elsa, that's giant Star-Lord. I think Star-Lord's, if you're going to put one Guardian in your deck, I think Star-Lord's the perfect cost,
got a good sweet
power
spot
ratio. Because you it's that balance of like, you can't, of that early game to late game. I had a lot of fun. Are
you sure? Like one paying 2 energy for Rocket Raccoon +1.
Yeah, I like Rocket Raccoon better, but they're both at that sweet spot.
I'm saying if you're going to play 2 Guardians, you play those 2 because Star-Lord is still the second best of the traditional Guardians because it's almost Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
I think where I come in is just my bias to to a 2 cost being better protected.
I do love that it doesn't die to Killmonger. That has always been one of the sweet things about 2 costs.
I've been seeing some Electras now because of all the nebulas.
I've seen Electra,
because of all of the... Yeah, so this is why... And I already have 3 1-drops in my deck. I have Kitty, who's generally pretty protected because I'm playing her, I'm pulling her back every turn. I have Nebula. I have Hydra Bob. So it's like another thing that could die to someone's Killmonger. Because I'm afraid eventually it's got to happen. Because this is where I'm at. I had fun. I played this game. I get this is probably a deck that's similar to a lot of people's decks, but it's really built based on my experience of playing the game. And I've been, like I said, I've played and I have won. And I am up there. So like... And points wise, right? Like, because here's the thing: when you run out of scrolls, you're done. So played enough. I've won enough. I have not run out of scrolls. So so this is what I put together. So and that's fun. But here's what's not fun for me now. It's like, what's the future look like? Is it going to change? Are people going to start playing Killmonger because of all the nebulas now? You know what I mean? And then are we going to have to react to that, or is it going to be the same? Which doesn't, it's like, but I built this and I had my fun. I don't know how much more I want to change it. Or B, like, is everyone just going to play the same thing?
How much is the meta going to change? Yeah.
Did I just play the entire mode in one night? I think
it seemed like it was getting really samey after just like 6 hours. Right?
Yeah.
Like people figured out what was best. People started net decking or copying each other's decks. And
I sort of think that's kind of always the case with these limited time modes. That's just inevitable. They're not real full game content.
Yeah.
They're not designed for replayability. They're not designed for it really is like, let's all have a fun 3 hours from whatever time in the afternoon reset happens for you, until for me, it's like, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., we're all going to have a lot of fun with Sanctum Showdown, and then it's over,
That's where I'm at. Like, now it's just the grind to get... Yes, the fun's over. I had my fun. I figured out the mode. I built, I built the deck. Like, I proved I was clever at it. And it's like, now we're done. We're ready to go back to memeing on ladder or whatever. But no, I have to grind until I get... Like, if I don't even know if I'll be able to get all of the season 4 or 5 cards. But even if I get all of those, I know I'm just going to go for borders. Like, it won't be done until Sanctum, for me, until Sanctum is over. And I'm not looking forward to this grind. And I wish I could rise above and be a better reader.
I also wish I wish you
would.
would, honestly. If I thought I could say something that would help you get over
not do
that.
it.
Yeah, because
Maybe
you clearly know that it's not going to make you happy, and
I know, but I'm missing so many cards, and this is a way to get them for.
Yeah. Hey, one of my biggest takeaways after the first couple hours was this game would be so fun if it wasn't so fucking sweaty.
Yeah.
And attaching 7 new cards, 3 new cards plus 4 missing cards. Attaching 7 cards to the game mode inevitably made it so sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's like, okay, I had my fun, and now we go to the mines every day. to mine our
as far
charms.
as like expectations go for me, like I'm gonna get the 3 new cards. I only need like 100 more charms to get the 3rd new card, and then I can pretty much ignore it after. I mean, like, I will use up the scrolls because I would like to get a series 4 or 5 card, after the. Do we know anything about the weighting of those? Are they weighted towards series 4? They're even. So it really doesn't. Okay, well then I actually don't really have to wait for series drops because nothing I need is dropping.
I don't have
series
any
3 or
series.
anything. I don't.
Yeah, I have all the Series 4 cards, so
unless Super Giant go into Series 3, I don't think so. No. Okay, so yeah, I might as well open my presents early, But listener,
are you going to play Super? Are you going to build Super Giant decks, Ben?
Maybe. I mean, are they going to give her a couple more points of power? If
I build a Super Giant deck, I would play it. You're so
4/7 Super Giant.
Your decks are so sequency. Like, it's like, I don't even, like, what's Ben going to do with Super Giant? I want to know.
Probably shoot myself in the foot, like, a lot of times is sort of.
She's a weirdo, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I had a lot of fun playing a new mode, a new meta where different cards are strong, but also, like, playing the same things over and over again is boring, and the meta just already isn't as diverse as regular old ladder. So,
yep.
It kind of stinks. Like, a lot of effort went into this. Like, I love the art.
No,
I was impressed yet, but I've heard it's good.
They like really they tried. Sometimes you can tell when they aren't trying, and they tried on this one for sure.
Yeah.
But like, you open your presents and then you can't play with them. I have Diamondback. I have 3 new cards. What am I doing? Grinding Sanctum with a deck I know I can win with.
Take those new cards onto ladder. Do something fun with Gorgon. Don't you want to play Gorgon? I want to play Gorgon
and Black Widow.
I must grind. But I must grind.
Must you? Must you? You really mustn't, actually.
I know, I want to meme.
And it's Infinity Conquest week.
Give me all the rewards.
Am I going to make a single run at Infinity Conquest this week? Probably not.
I don't even know if I'm so in Sanctum. I'm so in Sanctum that I don't even know if I'm going to.
Maybe when you run out of scrolls, maybe you will slow down eventually.
Yeah.
Right? Once you get through that initial 10, I think it's 12. Initial 12 plus Twitch drops, then you're only getting 2 every 6 hours. Every 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's going to slow down.
It will. It will for sure.
Anyway, the mode's generous. It's fun. I like a regular old Snap better, which is good.
Yeah. I think part of it is the games are so long. Like, long games.
Yeah. If it were that most of them were ending on turn 5, I think I'd like it more. Even if that would possibly homogenize the decks even more, because it would make it harder for decks like yours that have like the slow setup, but then they shut everything down.
So it's like we like the shop, but high voltage still wins for being the most casual mode. Fastest casual.
It is the most casual for sure. I think I like the more strategy of the more different strategy of Sanctum Showdown the most.
I only liked it briefly. Now we have to play it.
Yeah.
I figured it out. Now I'm done. Okay.
By the way, the way I've mostly been playing a move deck, which is very good. If you get the draws, your Human Torch, you just move it every single turn, and it takes the Sanctum, and it just gets bigger and bigger. That's a lot of fun. Of course, Scream can be a nightmare, but as long as you boost up your torch enough, then it's like, even if they move your torch for you, you're like, okay, cool. You took 2 power and then doubled it. It's fine.
Man,
the other thing
Scream
I've done,
is such a menace. Sorry, I have to interrupt. Like, some people hate Arch. There's some kind for me that is Scream. Every time I see a Scream, I'm like, kill it with fire, kill it. Like, I hate it. Like when it's a discard deck, I have no way to take her out. Except for Gambit, and it's just like people are always. I'm like, they're moving my cards, and I'm getting all negative power in their butt. I hate it. I hate Scream.
Yeah.
I murder it with a Red Guardian every single chance I get. I would give up the lane.
I always hate Scream, but I hate her so much more in Sanctum. That's for sure.
Maybe I'll get it from Sanctum.
My original theory crafted deck, which yeah, I'm waiting for her to rotate into my token shop so that I can be what I hate.
Become the thing you hate.
She's a really fun card. Like,
she does seem like a fun card.
Yes, she seems
to get rewarded for something that's already strong. The placement disruption. Anyway, my original deck.
Okay, go ahead.
I named it Sanctum, as in, dumb. And it's mostly what I'm playing. I'm playing 11 of the same 12 cards of my pre-Sanctum planned deck. And this is the deck I'm having the most fun with, even if move is a little bit better. But it's basically Guardians, Negasonic, Makari, Stegron, Cannonball. We've got some move disruption on here and some free cards. But then my secret sauce is Venom, Ghost Spider, and Doc Strange. Because it's really cool on turn 4 to Venom your stack of Guardians, Ghost Spider it over to the Sanctum, and then the next turn, you Doctor Strange it over to the new Sanctum. It's super fun, although it makes you super vulnerable to Cannonball. Venom has been a blast and catches people off guard. I replaced Hydra Bob with Werewolf. Werewolf is a little bit of a slow setup, but once you get him set up, he is especially helpful in the mirrors because I'm using Guardian. So it's like every single time I'm hitting a Sanctum, I get a new Guardian and Werewolf comes over and here he is. He's 10 power, 15 power by the end of the game. He's big. Super fun.
He'd be so OP at 2 and it's where you really want to put him down. Sorry, I do love me some Werewolf.
Yeah, they should buff him.
They can't buff him too much though, because he really does get big.
He's so I want him to be 2. It's not enough at 3, but it's so fun to move him around.
That's the thing. They need to keep him at 3, but buff him is what they need to do because he would be just busted at 2. Getting him down a turn earlier would just he'd be off the chain.
Maybe Affliction, because then it'd make, if you don't draw your dinky little, Hazmat and Scorpion and stuff till late, you can just, ping around your werewolf. Okay. So I haven't found anything fun to do with werewolves
instead of buff?
Since Starcock. No,
that's what I was wondering about too, Lauren. I don't think that's but I love it.
No, if you put Werewolf out and you're playing Affliction and you don't get your small Affliction cards until later in the game, like Scorpion, stuff that you would normally play early, then it's then you can still be useful because you'll be pinging around the Werewolf gaining power.
Yeah, and your Sable and your Casinova. Yeah.
The most fun I've ever had.
Isn't there some X-Men character that barfs something gross a lot? There's at least one X-Men that does gross barfs, right? There are a lot of gross barfing X-Men, right?
So many
I feel like that would be fun, Werewolf by Night, except it's a gross barfing X-person and they go around afflicting things wherever they move to.
That's such a fun idea. And then you could play both of them.
Yep. You would definitely play both of them.
the Leaper with Werewolf.
We're doing that already, right?
Run out of board space.
An entourage of cards,
On to our side quests. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
The weekly secret homework was from Ben. What was it? What was our assignment this week?
All right. The assignment was inspired by the upcoming What If season of Marvel Snap. We were tasked. I tasked us. I'll be honest. I'll take personal responsibility for this one. I tasked us with designing cards based on characters appearing on the Disney Plus What If television program. just anything that isn't already on a data mined card that's already come into the game. So there were many options because there are a lot of characters on What If, lots of different versions of different familiar faces and so on. You know, there were so many good options. I felt a little bit bad. I decided to go with a character from the episode that I had seen most recently, the final episode of the most recent season, the Eminence. That's right. Uatu the Watcher's boss, the head of their order of non-interfering grumpy Gus Watcher folks. You know, he hates that Uatu is getting his hands dirty, meddling with outcomes and things, not strictly observing. He's participating. How dare he? So anyway, I felt like the perfect non-interference stat line for the Eminence was 0 cost, 0 power. So the Eminence is our game's first 0/0.
I love it.
Oh,
It's got game start.
wow.
You can see the unrevealed locations. That's right. That's Uatu's text. But there's more.
Okay.
The Eminence has an ongoing ability. Locations are not revealed here. I also thought about starting the Eminence in your starting hand like Quicksilver, but I thought that was too many lines of text, and I just opted for simplicity. And I think that you know if you draw the Eminence early enough, you can stop a location from revealing. Also, if you wanted to re-roll a location later with Nico or Scarlet Witch or Nocturne, it just wouldn't.
I was wondering, does he stop
you would
that?
wipe the location to non-revealed location, and it would stay that way.
Protect your limbo.
Yep. So
That's a really cool
this
idea.
card, the Eminence, is all about just saying no to all these multiversal hijinks and shenanigans. if your world was meant to stay unrevealed and stuff,
no interfering.
Yep. So I'm not sure that this is the most desirable card for people to play. I'm not sure that
Be fun,
I'm
though.
not sure how this is going to contribute to a consistent game-winning plan. And usually when I design cards, I try to make that a little bit more of a priority than I did this time. But I just went with sheer flavor this time, the non-interference thing.
I think you said if you play him, the location goes back to unrevealed?
No.
So you
he's
could
just got
protect
an
your limbo.
ongoing-
That would be a real thing people did. They would play limbo and then they'd protect it.
Yeah, you could protect Limbo with Eminence or any...
No, because you said if
you couldn't protect it. It would still go back to unrevealed.
That's what you said.
Oh, okay.
At least that's how I think the rules would work.
It's your card. You get to decide.
Okay. Ongoing. Ongoing's weird because it works backwards, but not always.
My thinking was if you play this card during the first 2 turns, if you happen to have it, you can stop some location from revealing that you don't like because you'll know about it because he's got Uatu vision. I don't know.
But also just to if you build in, I like it because already it's just think of all the fun if you it's
the Nexus, and then you Enchantress him.
Which one's the one where you lose power?
Bar with no name.
Yeah, bar with no name.
Oh,
so
yeah.
or
Yep.
where it's negative. So you could do shenanigans like that. It'd be pulling Legion scams, which is known to be a pastime of mine.
Or you quake the location off of where he is.
See, there's be tons of fun to have. I would love to mess around with
I
this
like
card.
that.
I love a good quake
I need
scam.
a winning game plan. I'm nah, I just want to have fun.
I want this
it'll
card now.
It'll be an exciting card when you get it generated.
It makes Scarlet Witch be fun again.
But only if you get it generated on the first turn. I don't know. I probably should have given it the line about starting in your starting hand.
But this is I
strong.
like it.
Yeah.
Because like you said, how it works if you would change a location is that location would just go to unrevealed. So you could just Scarlet Witch the location and then, I don't know, destroy it or move it or something if you want to reveal it later. I don't know. I'm way too into your card right now.
I want this card more than any of the February cards that we actually got.
What? Oh my gosh. Even Red Wing.
I feel like you made a card before. I can't, like, off the top of my head that was about changing locations. And me and Lauren were also like, oh. We're little shit that changes locations.
Look, I love a good Quake scam, a good Legion scam.
Just, let it get fun.
Okay, Ree?
God forbid a girl change a location. Okay. I don't know if I can follow that. Okay.
I think you can. You'll be fine.
I was less epic. I just wanted to make a zombie card. It's not even one of my favorite episodes of What If, to be honest. But I was like, zombie card, mash it on. So we have Vantine Patient Zero version, because, as you know, she started the zombie apocalypse. And so her text would be ongoing. At the end of each turn, move a card here to another location and replace its text with this card's text. Make zombies. So
wait, say
it would move a card, and the card, then that card would be stripped, and it would be replaced with the text ongoing at the end of the turn. Move a card here to another location, and
so everybody's catching Red Guardian's disease.
Except for not losing power. So that's kind of what I was thinking with it, is that it'd be another Sauron, right? This would be a card where you'd want to strip cards of their text.
Oh yeah.
You'd want to strip like Typhoid Mary, You could get an Ebony.
And this is like a symmetrical thing. This is happening to your cards and the opponent's cards.
I wanted to make it the opponent's cards too, but I figured that's too OP. Maybe. So like,
if it was a random card.
Because it's a random card, yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't be too bad.
And I put it at, this was hard to pace. I wanted to put it at 5 costs because it's episode 5, just to be tricksy. But I really thought that would be... but that's not enough. That gives you 2 procs. I wanted to give you 3. But so I put it at cost 4, and then to mirror Wasp's power, I put it at 1. And it's for
it's a strong ability, but 4-0 is bad stats. So I think that's probably 4-1. Sorry, you're right.
Because it matches Wasp.
Yeah, I was thinking of her cost. Anyway.
Also,
very cool.
Dracula.
Yeah, who always stays.
Who is more of a zombie or a vampire than a zombie, but it's
undead.
Oh yeah, that's true. Also, you would maybe making a but you would just never want to hit Drac.
No. Oh my god, Dracula does not want to catch the zomb. No.
Yeah, this is not a Ravonna card. Almost all of the Ravonna cards you have them for their ability.
But that's what I thought. Maybe it'd lead to something different. Mostly, I was just like, how to make a zombie card.
I also think.
They're going to do a whole Marvel Zombies season, and it's going to have cards. You know how I love multiple versions of the same character.
I don't. I honestly didn't even want to do it here, but that's how we make a zombie card.
It's inevitable. It's fine. I've come to terms with it.
In our Discord chat, there were people doing zombies for the secret homework, and they were doing like Zombie Captain America had like an ongoing ability that was affliction. So that was like, and then I think it was Scott. Somebody had the idea like, well, what if all the zombie cards were like just twists on the original ability, the original card's ability? I'm like, that'd be kind of cool.
Do you think you would run like a high Evo, but like a zombie thing instead, and it would have like a list of cards that it zombifies or something? Would that be fun?
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That would be fun, and also it wouldn't make people buy a whole bunch of new cards just to get in on the zombie magic.
That's also a great way to like make the your Captains America and Hulk and Thor, like all these early game cards that are like popular characters, but not necessarily the best cards. Another way to revive them. I like it.
It'd be cool.
Yep.
Although it would be complicated because they, you can't just say like vanilla ass cards like High Evo does.
Yeah, that's true. You'd want to pick.
Fine. You can just tap through the cards behind. I do think that life could
find a way, though. Yes, I think we could Designers could be made to make it work, in fact.
It would be very cool. They could add a zombie filter to the collection screen. I did Cosmic Queen Agatha Harkness.
Hell yeah. I thought about doing this. I wanted to do this one. I love Agatha. Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. I almost did Birdie, but I decided to do Cosmic Queen Agatha Harkness instead. I didn't realize until we were reviewing Eson that I maybe gave her a very similar ability. But anyway, I made her a 14/6, which I know is ridiculous, but here's my thought. She's extremely powerful. And how do I represent that? I don't, she's the inverse of Agatha Harkness, the 6/14, 14/6. And also, spoilers, let's skip ahead 10 seconds if you care. She absorbed the power of 2 Celestials. Arisham is a 7 cost. She's a 14 cost. Anyway, here's her ability. Game start. Add Agatha to a random location. That's the Sam Wilson shield ability. Each turn, she plays a card for free. If you do not win every location, you lose.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Oh, that's a design, Lauren.
What a quest.
Oh, wow. I love it. That's very cool.
So very Agatha-y, but also very strong. You get 6 power for free. And
but wouldn't you
oh
lose
my gosh,
the very...
you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. Jeezy Pete's.
But how would you not lose the very first round? Because I assume ties don't count. You have to win.
Yeah, you have to win. I originally had you must win every location, but then I was like, but what happens if your opponent wins only 1 and you win 2? Like, do you both lose?
Right? I think
you lose, but I wanted it to be so that your opponent won.
Yeah,
so that's why I worded it as if you do not win every location, you lose. I guess, yeah.
At the end of the game.
I think you've got the bases all covered.
You've
been playing too much Sanctum. That's what's going on here.
How do you even get to round 1?
At the end of the game, you have to be winning 3 locations.
3 lanes. Okay. All right. That's cool. I like it.
All right. Yeah, you would need hand gen or something because her text is very long, but Cone Shoes is longer.
It's fun and different. I like it.
Okay. Next week's homework. I'm doing another card design challenge. We tend to do those the most. I think they're the easiest to come up with.
Oh, yeah.
But in honor of Agamotto, the card design challenge is to design a card that uses the keyword banish.
Okay.
Okay. Gotta pull up my notes. If you like what you heard, give us a like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, review, whatever, all the things. If you're listening on podcast, you can go leave us a comment on YouTube, even if you're not going to watch the YouTube. I don't know if that's bad for the algo, but I also don't care. I just like talking to our listeners. They're cool people.
Shout out to whoever said I should talk more about comics. You were very intelligent and amazing. Just saying.
Wise and attractive.
Yes.
You can follow us social media if you want to. That's in the show notes and video description, email instructions on how to get to the Discord. It's a challenge. If you can do it, I will be impressed because it's a little tricky, but it's fun once you're there.
It's not that hard. We get a person or two every week.
I'm exaggerating on how tricky it is, but it is a little tricky. Hit us up if you need help. We're part of the Snap Judgments Network, where you can listen to other shows like our Grand Pod mentioned previously on the show, Snap Judgments with Pulse Glazer and Roy on Saturdays. They usually have guests. It's great. So yeah, if you want to hear next season's card rankings, which of course you do, that's the best thing, tune in next week. Same Snap time, same Snap channel.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Do you have comic thoughts?
Oh. Yes.
Do you want to talk more about comics? Always. In particular.
Well, let's talk about...
If you don't, I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No. Okay. No, it's fine. What I'm laughing is because when you said that, it's like, yes, immediately. Always do I have comic thoughts. My comic thoughts this week will be about how comic outrage, such as I mentioned last week, is pretty stupid. To be honest, as much as I talked about it. it's an interesting thing. I don't engage in a lot of discourse online about things that I like so that I can continue to like them.
Probably for the best.
And other people. So I don't talk about comics. And one of the reasons for this is people, I think, get outraged about like silly things. Now, okay, reasonable, like for example, looking at what I talked about last time, which was some outrage over Gwen Stacy, like, which is okay, but it's a mixed topic because like we look at things like, okay, getting upset about how they fridged Miss Marvel and made it a trauma for Peter Parker out of nowhere, that's bad writing and just bad decision making, right? And that deserves outrage. Like, getting mad about digging up Gwen Stacy, well, it is like, let the poor girl rest in peace. It's like, they be digging up characters constantly.
No, this is what they do.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
to ask them to not resurrect Gwen Stacy is to ask them to betray their very nature as superhero comics.
Right. Constantly there's little one-offs where it's like, we brought back this character from the dead for you to kill again, you know? And then it's just forgotten about several issues later.
Maybe they're a clone. Maybe it's Miles Warren, the Jackal. Sorry.
Right? So, and here's where, like I got, like, this is one reason I didn't, before I was briefly on, like Twitter or whatever, and I wasn't involved in comics discussion. I was actually reading a Sam Wilson Captain America run.
That's one that
was really enjoyable. It's by Nick Spencer, but there's an arc where Steve Rogers, the original one, someone gets their hands on an Infinity Stone and they rewrite his past, so he's like a secret Hydra agent all along is the storyline. So while Sam Wilson Captain America is dealing with everything he has to deal with, mostly problems from our own country, as we usually are dealing with. Like, you know, he's out here like undermining him. It's devious. And it's like, I really enjoyed it and thought it was good written. And my friend actually reached, she's like, did you know that they made, you know, Captain America like a Nazi? Because, you know, like, yeah, Hydra are Nazis. And I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying this run. And she's like, well, that's, you know, a lot of people are mad. And it's just kind of like, one, have they read it? Like, what you mad about? A thing you're not even reading. I am actually at the comic book store on Wednesdays buying comics. And two, it's like, have you not? They make all characters evil. There's been evil Superman. Yep. There's evil Wonder Woman. Everyone gets evil for a time. It's silly to be mad that a character, you know, was evil because that's, you know, that's how comics do. But getting really passionate about things you like and having strong opinions about them is just one of the ways we enjoy the things we enjoy. So, like, outrage is stupid and silly, but also, what else is the internet for besides cat pictures? You know what I mean? So, I think it's okay.
I still think we could tone down the outrage over things that are stupid and silly.
But that's what I'm saying. It's about getting into and having passion, but not like attacking other people or, you know, or the stuff that's just about bigotry or whatever, that is just writing that conversation off entirely. But like, but you know what I mean? As long as people can be civil about it, you know, and not like make personal attacks, I think it's fine to enjoy how you like to enjoy things. So, all right, sorry, that was long. But do I have comic thoughts? Always, Lauren, always. In secret.
I love that for you.
It's one of those like backhanded. It's like you can say that and it can mean it in a nice way.
I meant it sincerely.
I love that for you. Get in the car, loser. We're going snapping.